Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be opening this box. You probably already know what it is based on the video title, but I'm really excited about this. I'm sure you are too. Let's go have a look and see what we've got. Opening boxes is like my most favorite thing. I love when I get a parcel through the mail. It's been pretty difficult not to open this before this video. It arrived at like maybe yesterday or the day before, so I think I know what it is, and it's exciting when you get something in the mail. Okay, so what have we got here? In the box, we've got more than what I thought I got, but the product I thought I was getting was the Twinstar, the new Twinstar 600C version 3 light. As I said, this is the C series. And we can go through the product details more in detail, but let's have a look at what else we got in the box. And also one thing to notice, this is Twinstar's new packaging, so yeah, it's very, very interesting. Let's see what else we got. Looks like Twinstar have sent me one of their Twinstar diffusers. We can have a look at this and quickly as well. And one last thing, so we've got a strideways regulator in the box, which is very, very cool. So I'll definitely be having a look at this in another video. So I think we'll save this product for another video. So quickly, we'll have a look at the Twinstar diffuser. This was not the product for this video, obviously, but we'll have a quick look through it, seeing as it's the same brand. So within the little packaging here, we've got a little tiny diffuser with a little suction cup. Very, very neat, very small. So yeah, good product, I believe. Very similar to some other on the market, but looking at this, it is slightly different. And it's it looks a bit smaller as well, to be honest. So we'll get some close-up shots of this, and we'll move on to the Twinstar light afterwards. Now for the Twinstar itself, the Twinstar 600C version 3, let's have a look at the product box first. So obviously, as I said, new packaging. It says it's got a G rating on energy. Let's have a look more into detail. The tank size, obviously, it's for a 600 millimeter tank, 60 centimeter tank, hence the name. The glass thickness is up to 12 millimeters. It's a RGB W light, so it's also got white LEDs. Color temperature of 7,200 Kelvin. Any other information? It's 2056 lumens, so 32 watts. Lifespan LED, it says 30,000 hours. Operating temperature 0 to 32 degrees, and it's got a 1-year warranty. There's some other small details on here, but I'm sure we've went through most of it on the box there. So let's have a look inside the box. So the box, the light just seems to slide out here. It's definitely more of a slim-lined box than previously we had with Twinstars. Just double checking there's nothing I'm missing. Ooh. Oh dear. It would seem my light is broken. That's a shame. Seems like in packaging it came a long way from Portugal. And it would look like through the postal service, they've dropped the box, even though it says fragile on it. And the side of my light is broken. That is really disappointing. I think it's still gonna work though. It's still gonna be fine. It's just the bracket that's broken. That is disappointing. Well, postal service, there you go. Oh, the other side's broken as well, actually. It'd seem that's not very good. Yeah, the postal service seems to have roughed up the box. I noticed the box had a lot of damage, so it's possible that they just threw it about as they do, you know, the postal service. Kind of disappointed with that. So let's have a look at, after the disappointment of this, and my broken light with them probably throwing away in the box, let's have a look at this other little box in here. Looks like we have the power adapter. So pretty small power adapter, that's good. And got a EU plug there, so I will have to use an adapter for the UK, but that's totally fine. And some brackets. These brackets definitely look different to previous brackets for the Twinstars. This one here seems more like a brushed metal instead of like a shiny chrome. And then we've got the brackets, the bottom brackets themselves here as well. Okay, so I have the power plugged in. Let's just, well, I don't have it plugged in yet, but I have it plugged into the wall. So we'll plug the light in. It's quite bright. So it still works, even though it's been bashed around in transit. So we have quite a strong light. It's quite bright, which is really, really good. Can definitely see the different colored of LEDs there. The blue, reds, green, and the white LEDs as well. I believe this version 3 has a little button on the side here for different intensities of light. So that's really, really cool. I think this is a much needed feature on Twinstars. Previously, people have been talking about how the Twinstars didn't have a built-in timer, which it still doesn't, but you can plug it into a household timer or a smart timer like I do on mine, and that kind of solves that issue. I don't have any issues with that at all. But yes, the dimming capabilities, ability to actually dim the light to use on different styles of tanks, I think that's really, really important and is a much needed feature on Twinstars. So overall, that's really, really good. Great. It's great that they're thinking about adding this feature to the new lights. Obviously, this is the C series version 3, and we don't have this feature on the E series version 3, or I don't think the S series yet, but I'm sure it will come in the future. So while we've got this light out, let's have a look at the version 2 versus the version 3, which we have right here. So taking a look at the two versions, the version 2 on front and the version 3 behind, it would seem that the version 3 is actually smaller in length a wee bit and also width. One thing I did notice is the heatsink on top is larger than the version 2, which could be a massive help to keeping the light cool. But it's possible that these lights, the LEDs, have just been pushed in to be a bit more compact, which I think they have. So it may as well have the same amount of lights or more LEDs than the old version, but it's just a bit more compact of a light. Looking at the edges of, obviously we have to talk about it, being that this one has broken transit, I would believe that the version 2s are much more sturdy. I don't think it's a metal at the edge, unless I'm wrong, the version 2s, but it's much thicker than the version 3s. And I think this probably had a massive impact on why it broke in transit. We have to talk about it. Obviously the box, if I just go grab the box is quite thin, it's quite compact. If something hit the box on the side, I mean, sure, the light would be damaged, whereas the old box for the version 2s was much bigger, and I think it probably protected the light better. So that is somewhat disappointing that these little brackets on the side are, well, they seem cheaper than the old version, which isn't right. It possibly means that, you know, if they had the old version and this thick material at the side, they couldn't include the button, but who knows, I don't know, but I'll definitely be talking to them about it and saying that this broke in transit and my queries with the box. So anyway, let's look at the brackets. So the brackets are different, definitely different. We've still got this sort of thinner material, the same as the one that on the brackets that broke here. Version 2 had a clear material, so the version 2s were much larger, sort of this clear plastic, and it's definitely a lot thicker than the version 3s. What I will say is that I do enjoy a smaller bracket on the light on my aquariums, because this is the bit that generally hangs over the side of the aquarium. You can have sort of like a siphon effect when this is on the aquarium and the water kind of goes out of the tank if the water level is too high. So a smaller bracket, I kind of like that, although I do wish this material was a bit stronger like the version 2s. Another thing to note, it's a very, very small thing. These little brackets are like more of like a brushed steel or a brushed metal, whereas the old ones were a bit more shiny, and they've got this kind of small bend here, so they can fit in like this, like so, and you kind of push that down in there, I think, and that's how the brackets attach. Whereas the old version 2s, they had a little sort of like screw where you would screw it in, and this had its own faults. You could over tighten, you could break it, and there's a lot of issues with that as well. So I like that of the version 3s, but the material I think could be improved. I can't find the logo on the new versions, whereas the version 2, I can see the logo on the Twinstar. It says the Twinstar Lite 600C, so I don't see it on the new version. Some people might like that, some people might not. It's just a small thing to point out. On the power side of the lights, I do actually quite like the new version. They've got this sort of more silvery white cable versus the black of the older version. I think this is much more minimalist and you can't see it as well. It's not as noticeable as the black cable, so I think this is an improvement. Now that we've had a look at the light itself, I think we should get it on one of the tanks and see how it looks with an aquarium and all the plants underneath it. One quick thing before we go put it on the tank, the quality of this section of the light is very good. It's a very, very strong, sturdy piece of metal construction, and I have no quarrel with that. It's only these little side brackets that broke in transit that I think could be improved. It could just be that in transit that they smashed the box around and they weren't very careful with it, even though it said fragile on it, which is very, very likely. This shouldn't happen, and if you're going to buy it from a shop, this will not happen. It will not break. You will be buying a product that is in good condition, and it's unlikely you're going to drop it and break it the same way that it did in transit. But it is worth being noted that this did happen, and the box is very, very compact, and if the box is dropped, this is possible. So I've just added the Twinstar C version 3 to the tank, and the colors are amazing. The greens absolutely pop. The greens are absolutely gorgeous. Really, really, really nice. One thing I noted that is the Twinstar light is very close to the water surface, and you know, it's a lot more closer than the version 2s, as I remember. So there is that to be noted, and the spread of the light may not be as good as the version 2s because the light itself is quite slim. You know, it's the width of the light versus the version 2s I'm talking about. But the colors are great. The greens really, really, really pop. So I'm gonna have a quick play around with the dimming capabilities of this light. I'm not sure actually what it's set to right now, so I'm just gonna have a little play around with that and see what happens. So I just had a little play around with the lighting intensity of the new version 3, and it does go a lot brighter than I had it previously. But one thing, as I noted before, is the stands and the height. The spread isn't as good as the version 2s, I don't believe. The version 2 light is wider, but also the stand for the version 2s is taller. So if I just put this right here, you might be able to see up here that the version 2s is a lot taller, so the spread might be better. Another thing with the version 2s is that you can do is you can swap around this to here, so this can actually go even taller if needed, which was a nice feature of these brackets. And I suppose that you could still use these brackets on the version 3s if you had the version 2 Lite, but that kind of defeats the purpose. Overall, the lighting is beautiful. The colors really pop, especially the greens. I don't have too many other colorful plants in here. I think I have a few red plants and the reds look good as well. I have a blue plant down here, and I will say that the blue plant, it might be better, it might look better on the version 2s, possibly. There might be more blues in the version 2. I could be wrong. The previous light I had on this did have a lot of blues, so it did pop the blue plant there I had. It's the Brownie Ghost 2011, but who has blue plants, you know? So most people will have red or green plants especially, and those colors are popping and they are stunning. So very impressed with the color spectrum right here. I think I prefer the manufacturer to pick a lighting color for me, or at least give me a few sets of lighting spectrums that I will enjoy. I've looked into lighting units that give me more flexibility on changing the intensity of the reds, the greens, the blues. But from my experience, I can't ever get a really naturalistic appearance from these lights. And you know, from that experience, I'd actually rather the manufacturers just give me a really nice lighting spectrum, such as this one. I much prefer this. No, I don't have any adjustments to be made after this. I can't adjust the greens, the blues, the reds, although that's kind of fun. I'd much rather them just give me a really nice lighting spectrum that works and that looks good. So very impressed with the lighting spectrum. So that concludes my unboxing and review of the Twinstar version 3 C series. There's some massive improvements versus the version 2s. There's also some setbacks in terms of the quality on the lighting brackets, the height, the spread of the light. But I think I didn't actually talk about it, but the spectrum, I much prefer the spectrum of the version 3s to the version 2s. I think the spectrum of the version 3s is so much more natural, and that goes for the C series as well as the version 3 E series I have in my other tank. The version 3s the spectrum is beautiful, it's very natural versus the old models that the Twinstar brought out. But it can't be overlooked that the quality on the brackets aren't as good as the old versions. That is something I think we need to look at and address for the future versions. Although I do like the button and the ability to change the lighting intensity. I'm not very bothered on changing the lighting spectrum, although of course some people might be, and it's a good feature to incorporate in the future. But I'm very content with just having the lighting intensity button on the side and using that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.